Years ago, my old YouTube BFF Michael Burhan fell in some hard times, and wanting to cheer him up, I made a video just for him. The whole thing was poking fun at his old show, A Rather British Review, where I did a rather British review. And of course, being American, it was everything stereotypical British. I talked about the game Thunderbirds, as it's based on a British TV show, and really played up all the stereotypes. He thought it was funny and asked if he could put it on his channel, and me, being a terrible friend, told him, go ahead, which led to becoming one of my most disliked videos ever made. Of course, we thought the whole thing was hilarious, and he asked me if I'd do another episode, and I said, sure thing. So I set off on finding the most British video game ever, and boy did I find it. And I'm being all secretive about the title, even though you already know what game we're talking about because it's in the title of the video. But this was back during my Cardinal Nemo Ignatius days. You know, back when I thought I had to wear crazy costumes to have any type of a presence on YouTube. Aren't you glad those days have passed? Anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a look at Go Beckham Adventure on Soccer Island today, the game that was supposed to be my second video on his channel, but just never got made. Because I've still got the footage on my laptop, and I recently replayed the game, and it was a lot of fun. But first, if we're harkening back to the days of Rather British Review, I still have his old intro on my computer, so let's roll that intro. Sherry, Mr. Thor? You know, funny thing, whenever I marathon the Golden Girls, I like to go out and buy myself a cheesecake, and then whenever they sit down and have cheesecake, I have a slice of cheesecake when they have a slice of cheesecake, because, you know, it makes me feel like I'm not sad and lonely, even though I'm sad and lonely. But for me, it's like I have friends who are all a bunch of women who, all except for one, are currently deceased. But you know, whenever I watch Frasier, I don't have Sherry with Niles or Frasier, or a beer with Martin whenever he has a beer. That might be a good way to enjoy the show. So I'm not really a drinker. Alright, we're stalling. Let's get to the game. Let's just get this out of the way. Go Beckham Adventure on Soccer Island. Best title for a video game ever. It's the most Japanese sounding title of a game ever, except this game only came out in Europe. Not Japan, not the United States, just Europe. But I mean seriously. Go Beckham Adventure on Soccer Island. That sounds like an anime. So the plot here is that the evil Mr. Woe has come to Soccer Island and gotten rid of all the peace, I guess. And so now David Beckham has to restore the peace by defeating Mr. Woe. Best plot ever. This is not a soccer game, as I'm sure you've already figured out. It's a 2D action platformer. The best thing I can compare it to is something like Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City. I've heard it compared to a game called Soccer Kid, but I've never heard of or played Soccer Kid, so we're going with Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City. And by that I mean you play as this 2D super deformed David Beckham, and you run around kicking a soccer ball. Now you actually do have to dribble the ball around, and the ball is your form of attack and how you collect items like coins. You can get various power-ups like fireballs, and I believe freeze balls were in there. There's a lot of balls in this game, but that's okay. There's even some slight RPG elements, like leveling up your kicking ability when you've kicked the ball enough times. It's kind of flimsy on that RPG element, but it's there. So you just go around, fighting enemies, collecting coins, all your usual platformer stuff. It would kind of seem like a rather average game, but it's a unique presentation. I mean, Beckham himself can't collect coins or defeat the enemies. You've got to use your soccer skills to get through all of this, and that's a pretty cool concept. Again, much like Michael Jordan and his basketballs in Chaos in the Windy City. Now, all the bosses have a little bit of a gimmick, kind of a puzzle going on. They're not at all difficult, but it's alright. It's something a little bit different, and it's a lot of fun. The other thing is the music. It's this tropical, sort of calypso type music. It's exactly what you would think in a game like this would have for a soundtrack. It's nothing really special, but it gets the job done. I mean, this isn't like Mega Man or the earlier mentioned Thunderbirds on the NES. You're not going to sit around and hum these tunes to yourself later. But as far as in-game, it works perfectly well, and it's serviceable. There's really not much else to say. Go Beckham is just a fantastic little game. It does what it does well. It's unique. I mean, again, I've heard this other game, Soccer Kid, had a similar motif, so maybe it's not that unique. I should probably look that game up. But this is a good one. And it was made by a company called Rage Software or something like that. Rage something. I can't remember the full name. But when I bought this game, the guy who sold it to me also gave me another game. It was like David Beckham Soccer. on the Game Boy Advance. It was also by Rage, and let me tell you, that was the worst soccer game I've ever played in my life. Even worse than Great Soccer on the Master System. At least with that game, the name doesn't lie. You'll have a great laugh at that one. But no, like, I played a lot of soccer games, and the other ones that are actually soccer games by this Rage software were just terrible. So it's really cool that they took this idea and made it into an action game, and it works really well. But the only downside to it is, again, it was only released in Europe. If you can get a copy, I say go for it, play it. It's a lot of fun. But again, it's, not anything overly special. It's just a neat and humorous idea with also, again, the single greatest title ever conceived. Even beating out Master Chew and the Drunken Who. Go Go Beckham, Adventure on Soccer Island is a ton of fun. And since we're dusting off all the sold stuff from my rather British review, I guess we have to use my old British reviews ranking scale. So we're going to go ahead and give it 4.5 Don Frenches out of 5. Because I am lazy and don't feel like changing my graphics, so anything I played that I would do for this would be getting 4.5 Don Frenches out of 5. And also that one that's cut in half, that screams of pain on her face, just makes me giggle for some sick, twisted reason. Disclaimer, don't go cutting actress Dawn French in half. That would be bad. That would be really bad. Like, don't do it. That would probably also be murder. Not cool. So, that's Go Go Beckham, Adventure on Soccer Island. Short video, because again, not a whole lot to say. If you get the chance, absolutely 100% play this thing. Find an emulation of it is probably your best bet. But I haven't checked eBay prices, but when I bought this like 4 or 5 years ago, I paid like $10 for this and that other crappy David Beckham game. So definitely check this out. If you like 2D action platformers, just know that its one main criticism is that it's a little too easy. Personally, I don't care. Too easy, too hard. As long as I'm having a good time, makes no difference to me. So go find yourself Go Go Beckham, Adventure on Soccer Island, and have a blast.